Ted Hicks from Late Night Parents. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com. In the queue tonight, good friend of showing my age a little bit here, 40 plus years, Todd Bascom. Todd, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Nice. Thanks for having me.
Hey, anytime. And welcome to Haps TV. Haps offers free world-class broadcasting tools and a community eager to collaborate and a simple way for viewers to support creators financially. So I've read the promo for Haps. Big shout out to them for allowing us on this platform. Todd, I want to talk to you about NHL. NHL new season's about to start. Non-bubbled NHL. I know a lot of things are going on. Over the past few years, we've seen rising attendance, and TV ratings and revenues have always been the high thing. But, there's a whole bunch of new challenges that come along with hockey stakeholders. Wanted to ask you mainly about the business side of the sport, hockey fandom, and just for you to share your thoughts on some of these questions. So I'll start by saying, why did the NHL feel the need to be the first of the big four North American pro leagues to go to Vegas? And will it work long term?
Well, I'm not sure they felt the need to do it. I think the opportunity presented itself and they jumped on it. So to me, the question really is, why Vegas? They had what I myself and a lot of other hockey fans and people involved in the game, they had some viable options before Vegas. I think of Quebec City as the main one. We had a successful franchise there. Well, I mean, I don't know how successful they were financially, but we had the Northeast there for a while. They have actually an NHL-ready arena already built, so it was a little strange to me that Vegas was chosen. But once it happened, I understood why. And the bottom line is, it's money, right? What do you got going on in Vegas? There's a lot of different things going on with Vegas right now. One, it's Vegas. It's, the tourist mecca of the country, probably. Everybody, who knows how many millions and billions of people visit that city every year. You've got legal sports betting. You've got a population that's kind of transient, but you also have for lack of a better term, native population that is growing, and the metropolitan area is growing. And so Las Vegas isn't just Sin City anymore. It's a viable place for people to live. And so having major sports there just kind of makes sense. Now, will it work long term? I think yes. I think it will work long term more because of the city itself and how it's not just a place where it's where people are actually going to live now. So you can build a fan base, not unlike what was done here in Raleigh, where I live, with the Hurricanes. And because you also have a whole bunch of people that are moving from somewhere else, just like here in Raleigh, you got a lot of people from the Northwest, the Northeast, Canada. We've got a lot of Canadians here. So it just I think the same thing is true of Vegas. The sports betting angle is a interesting one. But I think what's going to be a potential pitfall for that attraction is, as you and I have discussed offline, many states are now, what was it? I think Jersey handled something like $4 billion in sports betting last year.
Correct.
And you got other states jumping on that bandwagon. So, Vegas isn't going to, whereas, you used to have to go to Vegas to place a bet.
Right.
You don't have to do that anymore. So I think that's a potential stumbling block. I wouldn't worry about it because you also have that fan base that's starting to be built in because people are actually living in Vegas. They're not just going there to visit. So yeah, long term, I think it'll work out fine. Of course, the key is you got to win, right?
You got to win.
And what happened? What happened with Vegas? They
in their first season they won.
Exactly. So right then and there, you got a little bit of a, and the same thing happened here in Raleigh with the Canes. You win a cup, and if you build it, they will come, right? So yeah, I think hockey has a good future in Vegas. It's gotten off to a great start, and I would see no reason why it couldn't be really successful long term.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, you got a football team now. You got, all the fights are out there. You got UFC.
The NBA is next, right?
The NBA is next, without a doubt. So tell me, what are the biggest challenges facing the business of professional hockey today?
Well, I mean, the answer to that, it has to be COVID. I mean, that's the immediate issue. If you notice, they've sold naming rights to their divisions, and for this season, the way their league is going to be structured with the 4 divisions of, I think it's what? How many teams? What do they got? 8 teams per, or something like that.
Right.
And they sold the naming rights to, so you have the Capital One Bank Eastern Conference,
right.
Whatever it is.
Which is crazy. Which screams money.
But hey, I mean, everybody's got to do what they got to do to stay financially viable, and I think the NHL has done a good job there. They're kind of looking at ways to make things happen. They're not just going to sit and lose money, unlike a sport like baseball that wants to be so steeped in their tradition that they can't get out of their own way to do things differently, or get rid of the DH, or put the DH in both leagues. That kind of thing. Hockey hasn't shown, and the commissioner hasn't shown that they care. They understand that they're a niche sport, and that they gotta make it how they live, so to speak. They gotta go out there and get that money. So I think the COVID situation is probably the biggest financial challenge right now. They're trying to make up for it. The other thing going on is, what's their next TV deal going to look like? So, we don't have the answer to that question. Mm-hmm.
Before we get to that, I have a question. This past Sunday, what we noticed on CBS, and one of the, Viacom is the parent company, and Nickelodeon is, falls under that umbrella. Could you see more professional sports league going that route, trying to cater towards the younger fans? Because like most of these sports leagues, one of the problems I see, not per se for hockey, but for baseball, the median age is 57 years old.
I have to tell you, I absolutely loved what they did, with what the NFL did with that game on Nickelodeon. And one of the interesting things about what they did is that, and hats off to Nate Burleson, they did a great job of explaining the game to kids.
Right.
And even me, someone who's not historically been a big football fan, I don't know a whole lot. I mean, I watch football. I know the basics. I don't understand the game like I understand hockey or baseball.
Okay.
And so I think that what they did was, the goofy effects aside, the way that they made the game accessible to the kids. I think it was genius. I think that's how you build a fan base.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you start them young. And I think everything I've heard about it is that everyone really enjoyed it. And I really wish a sport like hockey would consider doing that.
Right.
Because hockey has all of the things that kids like. It's fast paced. Every now and then people get a little angry at each other. I think that would be a great thing for the NHL to do. I'm interested to see what the reaction is going to be. The reaction to what the NFL did has been great as far as I've heard. So I'd love to see other sports kind of branch into that. That would be great, especially for hockey.
So I got a compound question here.
Uh-huh.
So as we were just talking about, in our COVID society, TV ratings for the NHL finals were down, but, they were down all around because, we were getting to the point where, I can watch a game without fans and I have to be able to get used to it. And, it also allowed for production studios to cut their angles a lot tighter and maybe use, a 4K or 8K camera. But I want to know, is there a problem with hockey in the U.S.? Because Hockey Night in Canada is off the chain.
Well,
I guess my question, since NBC kind of holds the rights this last year, what are we expecting? Like, what do you expect the next NHL deal to look like? The NHL TV deal to look like?
I mean, I don't think it's going to look that much different. I think here's what hockey fans have to understand, and being that. Being that I came into the game a little late, I didn't start playing until I was 13.
Okay.
I feel like I have a perspective, being involved in other sports prior to that. And I think what hockey fans and I think what the NHL brass gets is that hockey is going to be what it is. All right? I think no hockey fan in his or her right mind should expect that hockey is going to in any way ever challenge the NFL for number one at the top of the heap. So what I'm trying to say here is that hockey needs to know its role.
Okay.
And I think that people like Gary Bettman understand that the game still has room to grow, but I think that we as fans need to understand that there's only but so much fruit on that tree. And so if they don't try to, so long as they don't try to overstep or to kind of outkick their coverage and reach too high, I think they'll be fine. And I think the powers that be in the NHL understand that. They understand that you're never going to beat a regular season football game. You're never going to, and hockey has a very, the NHL has a very solid foundation right now. I think it's a healthy league. It's doing pretty well. And I think that they'll continue to succeed if they just understand who they are and what they are. and don't try to kind of step beyond that. The days of wishing hockey were number one, if you're going to hold on to that, you're just not being very bright. So I think the folks that are involved now, they understand all that.
Okay.
And they're doing a good job. I would like to see now. I would do some things differently.
Okay.
I would like to see. I'm still upset that you can get the conference finals and the finals, and there's game 2 of the NHL finals might be on NBCSN.
That's so silly. So silly.
Your finals got to be on the main network.
It has to be on over the air.
It's got to be on over the air. It's got to be on NBC, and we'll see now. A lot of that is NBC calling the shots,
right?
So I mean, I don't know, but that's something I would change. You've got to get. I think once you get to the conference finals and beyond, that it needs to be on. If you really want to expand your audience, you got to make sure you're reaching them.
I definitely think each night, like you said, definitely Stanley Cup. Each night needs to be on broadcast TV. So I guess a question, I'll ask it another way. Do you see the NHL as like two different leagues? Because what it does in Canada,
US kind of thing?
Yes.
No. I mean, look, hockey is what it is in Canada. I mean, hockey, the NHL in Canada is the NFL in the US.
Right.
It's really as simple as that. There's no more Don Cherry. we can debate that, but it's not like no, I mean, I don't really see it that way. I mean, the CBC, I actually, truth be told, when I can, I watch the Canadian feeds.
Okay.
Just because, and I don't want to diminish, the people that they have. Actually, the NBC crew is amazing. I really like them.
I was gonna lean into that and say, who could fill the shoes of Doc Emmerich?
Nobody. Who can fill Vin Scully's shoes, right?
No one.
Right? He's the Vin Scully of hockey, right, pretty much.
Right. But now it's like they have like a hodgepodge.
Well,
like of the 20 or so games that are going to be on, it's like, depending on the night, this is going to be your color person and your play-by-play person.
Well, I think it also is going to depend. Now, with COVID, a lot of these guys are probably doing the games from the studio. I don't know if that's true.
Correct.
So there's really no reason that it needs to change. My understanding is that the color person will change. I think Kenny Albert is going to be your play-by-play guy.
Okay.
And he's pretty good with hockey. Okay. And then I think the color is gonna vary between John Forsland, who's also excellent. Forsland actually does the local Canes. He's our local Canes color guy. And so and you might get some other people in and out. I think they've got kind of a hodgepodge in the studio as well, but it's gonna take a while. We'll see if Kenny Albert kind of. I like him. I mean, he's no Doc Emmerich, but Doc Emmerich wasn't Doc Emmerich when he first started, right? So we'll see what happens.
I keep hearing Mike Tirico, but he's doing I mean, I love Mike Tirico, but he does everything for the station.
Oh, right, yeah, he's NBC, right?
Right.
And I think that he did some NHL games when they went back into the bubble last year.
Yes. And
yeah.
a heck of a job, too.
Yeah, he did. Well, I mean, I think that's going to depend on. Look, he's great. So whatever he decides he wants to do, he's going to do it well.
Right.
So if they bring him in, shout out to Queens, right? if they bring him in, they bring him in, they're going to be fine. But Kenny Albert's good too. So I think when they get the next TV deal done, a lot of that will come much more into focus. But I think they're kind of doing what they have to do now with the schedule the way it is.
Could you see the next deal? Because the numbers are through the roof for every other sport. Could you see the NHL kind of piecing out the deal to say, hey, Fox, you can get a little bit, ESPN, you can get a little bit, and NBC, you can get a little bit, or stay exclusively with one provider?
What do I think they're going to do?
What do you think they're going to do?
I think they're going to follow the money.
Okay.
So if that's what brings in the cash, then that's what they're going to do. I don't know. I mean, I've heard people be critical of it. I like what they've got going on. I've enjoyed them being on NBC. I just wish NBC would give it some more burn.
Yes. That's how I feel.
My issue is more with NBC than it is the NHL, if I have an issue. And, what can I do about that,
Here's the one thing I'll leave, because I know we've beat this to death. NBC paid $2.5 billion for 10 years. And I think that's where your problem is. So it's only $250 million a year.
Well,
which is rather inexpensive.
And it's rather inexpensive, and NBC is calling the shots.
And they're calling the shots. If I were them, Todd, I would put them right on Peacock, let them stream, kind of like do it how what you're noticing like ABC and ESPN is doing. Hey, put it on all the networks.
Yeah.
Simulcast it, get a big number, everyone's happy.
Well, NBC has the Universal umbrella, right? So when they went back into the bubble last year, you saw, especially when they were doing I remember when the playoffs started, the game started at noon. So you had a game on NBCSN, you had one on CNBC, you had one on USA, you had, so I mean, it looks like they've already kind of started experimenting with that. The only thing I would say is you got to be careful that you can make sure that people know where the game is.
That's the big problem.
That's been a big issue. Like, where do I go for the game? We're gonna have a visitor.
Okay.
I got wild animals running around here, so forgive me.
I just want to say to you, hey, Canes and Rangers are going to be on Bravo Network, and I'm like, I don't even know what Bravo is. I don't know how to find Bravo.
Right? I don't know what channel Bravo is on. What is it? 230 or what? Like, where do I find?
I don't know. I don't know.
I guess if you watch the real Stupid Housewives of wherever,
then you'll know
where Bravo is. But I don't know where Bravo is.
The Beverly Hills of Housewives of whatever. So I got a question for you. Lots of people like to jump on the Stanley Cup winners bandwagon. My question for you is, explain to me, who do you see as being that team for the next 5 years, contending for the Stanley Cup?
Wow.
Is that too wide of a question?
Yeah, because there is a lot of great young talent in the league right now. And a lot of that great young talent is spread out. I think the obvious answer would be Colorado.
Okay.
They're actually already have arrived in a lot of circles. I think they're the odds-on favorite to win the cup this year. But they're a very young team with McKinnon, and I mean they've got all of these young superstars in that team. I think you have to watch out for the Islanders. The Islanders, and I've said this to you many times.
Many times.
As much as it pains me they were in the conference final last year?
Yes.
Right? And as much as a Rangers fan, it pains me to say this, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem in the league for some time. They just got Barzal back under contract, which was the kid that they had to get signed. If they can go find a top flight goaltender, and get a little more. I think they need a little more star power, but But you got Lou Lamoriello, you got that new arena coming. There's good things to come for that team, and I'll tell you again, as a Rangers fan, it pains me to say this, but I really respect Islanders fans. And I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them.
For the struggle.
They're a knowledgeable fan base. They've stayed loyal even through the whole Brooklyn debacle.
Horrendous.
So the Islanders are there. I think you have to watch out for the Rangers. The Rangers are a very young team heading in the right direction, and they have the young star goalie now.
Yes.
Edmonton. Again, you've got one of the best young players in you've got guys like Matthews in Toronto. There's just so much great young talent out there. But if I had to pick one, I'd go with Colorado.
Okay.
Look out for them. 1A would be the Islanders.
Okay. So how does the NHL compare to other major league sports in terms of ensuring safety and health of their players, short and long term?
Long term, they've done a great job with, not unlike the NFL, they have a very similar issue with head injury. Flashback of 30 years. I'm on the ice taking warm-ups. I catch a puck in the face, and they take me into the locker room, stitch me up, and I'm back out on the ice. Playing, and that would never happen today.
No.
No more. So I think they're doing a great job about that. They were bubbled up for when they returned last year. I'm not aware that they had any issues. I think
right.
I think the regular season, they're not in the bubble. I think you're gonna face what all the other sports face. We're gonna have positive tests. We're gonna have games postponed. We're gonna have but it is what it is. I don't have any reason to believe that they're going to drop the ball on this. And I'll say something, and I've got a little hot take for you.
Okay.
I've gotten to know between playing rec hockey and coaching youth hockey and all of that kind of thing. I've gotten to know a lot of pros. I've gotten to be around these people. My rec team, we practice in the same facility that the Canes. We play in the same facility that the Canes practice in. So we'll meet them coming in or out or whatever, and I just don't see having met a lot of these guys and knowing the kind of people they are and stuff, I don't see Austin Matthews doing what Kyrie just did. I mean, and I don't know why that is. I just don't see that. And I think the NFL did a good job with that too. And I think in certain sports, just players I could be wrong. I think in the more physical games, for one reason or another, you have more kind of camaraderie, if that makes sense. And these guys understand what it takes to be successful, to win. And it's different than basketball. If I play basketball, I can go out and get LeBron. I'm in the finals tomorrow, right? But with hockey, football, things like that, you have to pull together as a team. And I think that mentality kind of keeps these dudes from acting stupid. So I think you're gonna have some incidents, you're gonna have some issues. That's just the nature of this virus. But I'm confident the season will be fine going forward. I think they're gonna do a good job with this.
Hey, I do want to say hello to Ndeye. I want to say thank you for stopping by. Also, big shout to Peter from the Haps team. I want to thank you also for stopping by. In closing, I'll say this much, Todd. It's a player-driven league. Player-driven league with the NBA. They run the league. So if I was a journalist, I would say the inmates run the asylum, and it would be on everyone's hot take show the next day. But it's kind of the truth.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. It is. Look, some people are going to some people are going to take issue with that terminology,
right?
But whatever. I agree with you 100%.
It's like, hey, if I'm making, $30 or $40 million, and here's the protocols that I have to follow. I just said this on the last show I was on. If this is the protocol I have to follow because I'm cashing a check for $40 million a season, I think I'm going to follow the rules. I mean, you and I both work 9 to 5s, and we follow the rules that our employers set forth for us.
Well, yeah, and the only counter the only thing I would say to that is that what a lot of people don't realize is that you and I we work a 9 to 5, but a lot of these guys, they see what they do as they're just going to work every day just like us, right? So all of those little things that we do at work, they do at work. So I don't know. And the other one more thing that I would add too is that look, these are dudes that have been told nothing but that they're the best all their lives.
Yes.
And nobody ever told me that. So
correct.
My dad told me that I'd better shut my mouth and do what he said, and I can worry about being the best when I leave home, or whatever it was that I wanted to do on my own. But nobody was sitting around telling me and you that everything we did was okay.
That's true.
And that we were. So I think that plays into it too.
That's
I
true.
think I had
I do have a final question for you, and it's not to clown anyone, okay? So you and I have been friends for a really, really, really long time, and we go back and forth in our chat rooms. when I sent that thing last night about Evander Kane, for me, it's rare to see a hockey player, and I get it. They're an athlete. They're a person. He signed a 7-year deal for $49 million. 2 years into the deal, he's filing for bankruptcy. And I'm like, I don't get it. You know, we see that with football players. You know, that, 3 years after the number is so high that 3 years after they retire, they're filing for bankruptcy. Is there any type of, and you might know, you might not know, is there any, like, for the rookies that come in there, any type of, like, financial planning for them or anything like that? Because I would always think that's something important.
Yeah, they get I guess I'll call them classes, or
right.
Yeah, they have a program like that in the NHL. I know for sure they have it in the NFL.
Right.
I don't know. I would imagine they have it in the NBA. In the NHL, and I don't know for sure that I'm absolutely correct here. I believe the union is the entity that kind of deals with that.
Oh, okay.
I think in the NFL it's the league itself. Again, I don't quote me. I'm not 100% sure, but I think for some reason I remember that it's the NHLPA that runs those programs. I can look into that, but yeah, I know they exist. I don't know what happened with Evander Kane. Like, didn't I read something about he had like 7 dependents he was claiming or something?
He was claiming 7 dependents, but they all weren't children. It was like, hey, his mother, his aunt.
Hangers on.
Yeah, his cousin, and I'm like, he probably got jammed up by the tax man.
Yeah, that and everybody's living off him.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Hey,
that's true.
What can you say?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, would love for you to come back where we can talk maybe next week and the start of the season where you can,
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Maybe
you can give me your predictions. Who do you see? Like individual awards.
Okay.
Maybe you come back a couple of days, a week if even. We do a quick pod on who you believe is going to, be a star this season.
Let me get in one more quick point.
Okay.
And you mentioned just kind of circling back to where we started with Vegas and things, and it got expansion on my mind.
Okay.
And we know that Seattle's coming into the league.
Regardless.
Now, here's the problem. That's the 32nd team. So where do you go from there?
Is someone getting snatched and relocated?
I know the NHL doesn't prefer that, but okay. I say that to say, like, I've been on the Quebec City bandwagon forever.
For years.
That city needs a team.
Yes.
That city needs a team, and it's going to be hard now with Seattle coming in. It's going to be hard to get them,
It's going to need a partner, right?
They're going to need, you're going to need, and so I've been trying to look for that other partner.
Okay.
And I can't figure it out. I can't figure out where it's going to be. So that's kind of something that has to be. That's going to be something that's important for the future of the game too. I'm curious to see how that plays out. I want a team in Quebec. I don't know where else you could put one in the U.S.
Where could you move a team? Where could you move a team?
Well, but that doesn't solve your problem. You need another franchise.
Okay.
not just, you know what I mean? You need a, so if you need a 34th franchise.
Okay.
You know, to balance
Gotcha.
that out. That's why they,
Okay.
you know. So I'm wondering where that goes. So I'm gonna, hopefully I'll have some more on you on that angle for you at some point.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, I want to thank you for stopping by. It was a good conversation. Well, we always have good conversations. But this is the first time we had a good conversation on Haps TV. So once again, I want to thank our good friends at Haps TV for delivering this platform. You can catch the podcast on YouTube. You can dial it up on 1240 AM WGBB. And it's on, you know, however you get your podcast. So this is Ted Hicks. Ways to follow the show is latenightparents.com, and we are out.
Night.